All right, welcome to Defense Diaries. I am your host, Bob Mata, and we are here for a rare Saturday night show. I typically we're doing the Felonious Fridays. Yesterday, the day kind of caught up with me and passed me by, so we didn't get the Felonious done. So today we're going to be doing True Crime Roundup Saturday. We haven't come up with a more clever name for Saturdays, but we feel like it kind of gets oh, and there's my beautiful, brilliant co-host, Allie. What's up? Right on time, girl. Almost.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Right on time, almost. Oh, she figured it out. Mandy figured it out. I couldn't figure out, Mandy, how to get the background going. That's nice. She also did a nice menorah one for my Jewish wife. I think we would block the menorah, though. I like the snow, too. The snow's pretty. Good job, Mandy. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. So happy weekend, everybody. I hope everybody had a good week. Got to hang some. Another crazy, crazy week in true crime. As always, is it ever not crazy? Is there ever a week where there is not something insane going on? If we're just, and we're only going to be looking at three things tonight, which are going to be Lori Vallow, which to me is just one of my absolute favorite cases because she is batshit crazy. And I'm really excited about this trial where we get some justice for Charles Vallow. I'm sure you guys have heard that she has been found competent and she is also going to be representing herself. So I was telling Allie, I'm like, man, am I so excited about that. It is just delicious. It's going to be delicious. It's going to be absolutely appointment TV. I'm actually contemplating flying out there and attending that trial because I want to see it that much. You know, we're going to watch. It's about a 12-minute hearing. We're going to go through it. Allie will tell me stop. She wants to make some points. The question becomes, how much leeway will this judge give her in terms of her just going off half-cocked? I think he'll probably keep her on a pretty tight leash, but we'll get into that a little bit when we are watching that hearing. The next thing that we're going to cover, obviously, this huge, just kind of mind-blowing story about the assassination of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. We've got a manhunt going on, and it is day 4 of the manhunt. And as far as I know, on Google about 5 minutes before we started, they have not identified this person yet. So
it's hard to have a manhunt for no one.
Yeah, that would be a caught hunt. Hunt over. It'd be a done deal. So as it stands right now, it is 100% a manhunt. There is.
Well, I mean, is it though? Because isn't a manhunt when you're hunting a specific person? I think this is an identity hunt, an identity chase.
Babe, semantics. Identity chase.
Manhunt someone you don't know.
Listen, man.
Figure in the night.
Identity chase just doesn't have the same bang as a manhunt. I like Manhunt. Manhunt
Identity
sounds
chase.
Manhunt. Manhunt.
Finding
Identity
men.
chase. You tell me which one's better. Identity chase. Manhunt. It's better. So we're gonna stick with you can here. We're gonna compromise. You can call it an identity
No,
chase.
I'm
I'm gonna
done with
call it
that.
a manhunt.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna go through. I'm gonna pull up some Times articles, New York Times. I find them to be definitely the most I mean, they're all whatever. But like in terms of kind of like it seems like they have some reporters that actually give a shit about the facts. I find the New York Times to probably be the best of a very bad bunch in terms of print media these days. And then finally, we are going to go through the another bizarre case, another case which I absolutely love. And when I say love, I don't mean it in the way like obviously they're tragic, but in terms of fascinating me, like it really grips me in terms of my mind because it has me thinking about motive all the time, all the time. It's the same thing with the assassination of Thompson. We all speculated. I mean, I think on my Twitter within 5 minutes of hearing it, I immediately thought like John Q. Public or whatever that movie was with Denzel. I'm like, yeah, this guy's like kid died, and there was a way that he could have saved his child or her child. I'm not so convinced that it's a dude, to be honest with you. But we'll go to that. I know people are like, no, it's like we don't know anything. We don't know anything. So I mean, it could vary. I think it would be way more crafty if this turned out to be a mom. So, but like the concept being that there was something that could have been done treatment wise, and United Healthcare just denied the claim like they always do, and then the family's kid died, and it's revenge like that. I know that there's the lawsuit going on, but we'll get into all that when we get there. We did as far as the Mickey Stines case, which again, if you're not aware, this is the sheriff down in Lecter County, Kentucky, who shot and killed Judge Kevin Mullins in chambers a couple of months ago. He stands charged at this point, obviously, with murder, and he is death penalty eligible as it stands right now. So there she goes. Bye, babe. Love you. All right. So are you guys in the chat pretty familiar with Lori Vallow's case? Is that a case that you guys are good on? And again, Allie and I, and another thing that I want to point out before we jump into Vallow, we have now moved all of our traditional podcast episodes to YouTube. So if you go to our channel and you go to the podcast tab and you click on I think it's still got the bloody book, like our OG logo, the bloody diary. All 200 plus episodes of our traditional podcast are there,
Including the Vallow coverage.
Yep. So that's got Gacy, Garcia, which are the serialized long form storytelling podcasts that I do
By
alone.
Robert Mata.
Yeah. And then we've got the docket, which we're going to be putting out on its own. Like it's I wouldn't quite call it it's still a toddler, but it's definitely not, it's not a young adult yet. And it's not quite a teen, maybe a tween. I think it's still a toddler. I feel very comfortable with a toddler, but they're all there. And our coverage on Lori Vallow was amazing. That was a incredible amount of work that my wife did. She was like, and we were traveling. Like that trial was going on during Jazz Fest, which is a annual pilgrimage that Allison and I take down to New Orleans. And I think on that year, was that our full Monty? Wow.
That was the wildest of all years.
That was.
They
And
made you
that
call it New Orleans, or what did you just call it? You said the wrong name.
Nolans. So yeah, but Allie, because that was not a streamed trial. Now I'm hoping very, very much that this one is going to be streamed because it's in Arizona, not Idaho. And Allie, every night after they would release the sound and we're longer in the tooth in terms of doing this, in terms of the podcast. We didn't even have a YouTube channel at that time. We were just straight podcasting. And that was the first time. That was our maiden voyage. Allie and I on our maiden voyage, right? That was the first thing that we did, Vallow together. And that was when people are like, Bob, quit interrupting Allie. Bob, quit picking on Allie. I'm like, oh man, Allie, she's new to the whole deal. She's stepping on my toe. It's like a dance. Like when you're learning how to do this with two people, you really have to learn how to kind of like, especially where it's not like news coverage where you have two anchors just kind of waiting their turn. I mean, Allie and I are trying to have conversation, and sometimes, we talk over each other, but that's really that's really kind of just how it goes, isn't it? I mean, it's kind of real life. So, but that coverage is amazing because she would go every single night after they released the sound. She would listen on like whatever speed. What speed were you listening? I can't even understand what they're saying. And she's listening to it like in that robot, like reading it like a million miles an hour. And she's taking furious notes. She's noting all the times of all the clips we were going to pull. And then we were doing the lives, playing the clips of the coverage of the trial that we thought were most pertinent, trying to shrink it down for people in a more palatable way so that they could follow the trial. And the trial, if you don't know anything about the case, is absolutely amazing. Like in the most bizarre, horrifying way possible. And thankfully we got justice in that case for JJ and Ty Lee. She was found guilty, obviously. So I was thinking, babe, like a real quick summary of Lori Vallow, just in case we've got people in here that just don't know anything about them. So kind of the quick overview. Lori Vallow was born in 1982 in California, and she had a challenging upbringing. She had 4 children from different marriages. Ty Lee Ryan, her oldest Colby Ryan, JJ Vallow, who was actually adopted, and she had a deceased son, Joshua, who died shortly after birth. Her life took a significant turn when she met Chad Daybell, also known as Blockhead, also known as Charlie Brown, also known as Chad Dumbo, a self-published author known for writing about the apocalypse and the end of times. Now, both Lori and Chad were practicing Mormons. Okay. So that is, well, I mean, it's a bastardized version. Like,
right. But I think that they were, I don't know.
I mean, like the core of it was Mormon, right?
Maybe I thought it was, why is my brain not working? It's, forget it.
Okay. We'll call it Mormon then. So they had a very, very bizarre belief system, which kind of gets into what Allison was getting at. This certainly wasn't traditional, like Mormon. Like, trust me, we've got plenty of people in here that will tell you immediately in the chat. Just look. I'm sure they've already pulled it up or typed it in the chat in terms of what exactly they're.
I'm like spacing. We had I interviewed people from the church and almost got recruited myself. I tried to tell them I was one of the original tribes of Israel already. So doesn't that count for something?
Church of the Mormon
Latter-day Saints. Was that it? No.
Latter-day, well, Church of the Firstborn. Dr. Vonda K gave it to us. LDS, that's it.
LDS.
There you go. Which is a form of Mormonism. Like
Mormon,
it's like you think of like Catholicism or Christianity, and there's all different.
Right. I was trying to think of Latter-day Saints.
Yeah, Sandra knows. All right. So they obviously bastardized it. Lori and Chad were associated with a religious group that held very unconventional beliefs, including the concept of zombies, a term that they used to describe individuals who were allegedly possessed by evil spirits. This belief system, yes, dear.
No, I hate the way it's not even tying it in to how it all progressed.
Look, I'm gonna give overviews, and then I'm
All
gonna
right,
give
all right.
timeline. Like, I mean, this isn't the full Monty here. We're going like brief overview, right? Like, I just want to have people understand kind of what it is if they haven't heard of the case, which to me is insane because it was one of the more fascinating cases. And again, fascinating in a law nerd type of way. It was
Yeah.
just like that case just blew my mind in so many different ways. So the belief system played a crucial role in their actions in the tragic events that unfolded. So two of the kids, namely Tylee and JJ, were reported missing in and around when was that? Do you remember if it was July or was it all the way in September?
I cannot
It's
independently recall any. I didn't
yeah,
know you were
it's
gonna
hard
be
to remember.
quizzing me.
Yeah, I think it was September. Um,
I'm like, I used to have my notes. They're probably still over here somewhere.
yeah, I'm sure. Like we like look, I had it. I went against every
Stephanie
fiber of
May
my
says
being.
September.
September, right? September, correct? So they were reported missing after family members raised concern. JJ, who was autistic, was last seen in public in September, while Tylee was last seen in late 2019 after JJ. Lori and Chad's evasive behavior sparked suspicion, and law enforcement became quickly involved. Quickly is, I don't know. So look,
Yeah,
this is
definitely not.
look, like I was starting to say, I did go against my, my very fervent belief that AI is going to end us, and I had it create a script.
No
So that
wonder it sucks so bad.
I mean, it's
It's like, what are the words you're saying right
a
now?
machine, man. So investigation and discovery. As the investigation progressed, authorities searched for the children and discovered alarming evidence suggesting foul play. In June of 2020, human remains were found buried on Chad Daybell's property in Idaho. Positive identification confirmed that the remains belonged to J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan, leading to a national outcry and intensified scrutiny of Lori and Chad. So they were then charged. Both of them were charged. They were both death penalty eligible. Ultimately, what happened is that there was a kerfuffle,
Discovery issues. Yeah, I know.
discovery issues with Lori's case. The judge's punishment to the state in terms of late discovery being turned over very, very late was they took the death penalty off the table for Lori. So
As a
she
sanction
ultimately
for discovery violations, very unusual.
really was. It was a heavy duty sanction. So I mean, it kind of goes to probably the delay length was substantial. I'm taking it like to the point where it was delaying trial, to where the judge was pretty irritated about it. So just kind of a brief timeline. And really the only reason I want to get into this is because Lori's case in Idaho, which she was convicted on all counts, was for the deaths of JJ Vallow and Tylee Ryan. The case that is currently going on in Arizona is for the death of her former husband, Charles Vallow, who was shot and killed by Lori's brother in 2019, June, Alex Cox, which he claimed at the time and still claims, except he's dead, that it was self-defense. That incident raised questions about the dynamics within Lori's family. Now, you and I got into that very deeply about what was going on with her and Alex. It was another really, really weird relationship. Like everything, like I have her pegged as the puppet master. By the end of that, did you kind of come over to the dark side with me and decide that
We'll have to
Lori?
listen to the coverage and find out, but I did find my notes to confirm July 11th, 2019, Charles died, Charles Daybell, and then, um, in
Wait,
September.
Charles Vallow.
Right, sorry, Charles Vallow,
Okay.
and then in September, 2nd or 3rd, they moved to Idaho, and Tylee was last seen or last proof of life was September 8th, 2019. JJ was September 22nd, 2019.
Yeah, because there were those pictures when they went to Yellowstone National Park, right? I think there were some photographs.
Correct. And I mean, don't forget then on October 2nd, 2019, there was an attempted shooting of Brandon Boudreaux, one of the, her I think it was her that's might be her niece's, uh, husband.
Yeah.
And
Right.
then the attempted shooting of Tammy Daybell, October 9th, 2019, and then the murder of Tammy Daybell, October 19th, 2019.
Which Chad was found guilty of. Like he's already gone through his trial. So in November, the family members finally were like, what is going on? Because like whatever Lori was telling the family, they were kind of buying it until they weren't. And so then they finally got the authorities involved. The authorities started doing welfare checks. Lori and Chad had dipped to go get married in Hawaii. I mean, it's just such a sick. She is. I don't know if there's anybody more evil than Lori. Like she, like in terms of moms, I don't know. That's hard to say. Like everybody, like Susan Smith's pretty aw
I
like, I
mean,
mean
the weird thing about Lori is she was, before this, an amazing mother by all accounts, by
right.
her oldest son, by everyone that knew her. She worked with kids. She grew up being indoctrinated with the fact that people hear God speaks to you and you hear the voice of God, and, like, that's a real thing.
Yeah.
So, as much as I think that the right thing happened, I did struggle with, could she have really believed? I mean, it's hard to think she could really believe because it was always also playing right into her personal gain, like her life progressing to a certain way. But if you, like, take that out of it, it's could she have really thought that her children were no longer there, that they were?
I mean, like that was the thing that fascinated me, right? Like it fascinated both of us. It was this bizarre intersection of religion, of the criminal justice system, of your right to religion beliefs or religious beliefs, your freedom of religion, like
It was
and
more how the religion and the mental health, like, I thought she might really have believed that, um
well, we don't, but we both thought that. Like
right.
I absolutely thought that like she really believed all that shit. Like I think she believed that like the end of times was coming. I think that and if you guys aren't familiar, and again, we go through all of this ad nauseum in the podcast, but one of the fascinating aspects is that Idaho does not have the insanity defense. Now, I don't think, even if they had it, I don't think Lori was going to let her lawyers employ that defense.
I think she was adamantly against it, and they also had a special law statute
Carve
about
out.
religion. No,
Yeah.
about not being able
Oh,
to
yeah.
challenge someone's religion or bring in religious beliefs, something like that. They surely didn't want those religious beliefs being subject to, a courtroom, which
Yeah, 100%. So like this carve out was essentially that you cannot come in with an insanity defense, but you can attack the mens rea portion, the intent portion of any statute by saying that your client has a mental defect, meaning that they are incapable of go.
if you challenge the mental mens rea, the intentional killing of a human being, that would be where her lawyers, if she would have allowed them to argue, she did not believe those were human beings anymore. She believed
Correct.
they were demons.
Yes. Which like was blowing our minds. Because you and I were both like, but she just it's like that's why this case was so weird and fascinating because
She
when you have this concept of her actually believing like the things that she was espousing, then you've got this thing where she's like, there's no way
agreed.
I'm letting you test me like psychologically because I'm not crazy. Y'all are the ones who are in denial. Y'all are the ones who are crazy because when end of days comes, y'all are screwed. Like,
Well, that's why I thought maybe she went crazy. If she had really gone crazy, like, wait a minute, the end of days didn't happen. None of that was real. I just allowed for my kids to be, you know, slaughtered.
oh, Christine Beck, are you a mind reader? Are you a mind reader? I actually, Mandy and I were talking about it. Like Mandy had asked if I saw that Colby, I follow him. Because one of our episodes, like the call between Colby and Lori just destroyed me. Like I could not stop weeping. It was a really weird podcast episode. Like whatever it was, just hearing that conversation between this woman and that kid at that time, you know, like he was obviously older at that time, well, just crushed me. Like I was like sobbing. Remember? I couldn't
Yes,
I
I
could
remember.
not compose myself. It was so weird. And I just wanted to try to like power through it. Really,
Cut it a couple of times. I had to get up and give you a hug.
it was hard. I don't know what it was. It just broke my heart. All right. So I think so yes, Christina, I actually I've emailed him. I'm hoping that I could get him to jump on. I'd love to have him on.
Shiraz said, Colby did a reaction to Lori's hearing. It's hard to watch.
Yeah, in what sense? I didn't watch it. I know he did that.
Well,
That's what
we'll watch it after we play the hearing.
his like I don't know. It's
Oh,
on
can
his
we watch it?
channel. Well, I mean, it's on his channel. You
Oh,
know what I mean? It's like he's got a YouTube channel. So,
so we
yeah.
can't do that.
All right. So I think without further ado, let's pull up the hearing. And let's like this is really the most you hear Lori talk like since she's been arrested. You know what I mean? Oh, thanks. That Mickey. Appreciate that. Appreciate your generosity. Very, very much. All right, so let's pull it up and let's see what's what here. Oh man, I cannot wait. I cannot wait for this trial. Cannot wait. All right, tell me right away if y'all aren't hearing sound because sometimes StreamYard's weird.
Oh, do you want to set the podium?
Mandy says we can watch it.
You hear it?
Morning. You're the victim of a crime with a case pending before this court. You're advised that you have rights under Arizona law that, among others, include the right to be treated with fairness, respect, and dignity, to a speedy trial, to be present at court proceedings, to choose whether or not to be interviewed by the defendant or
Can you guys hear it?
Yeah.
Okay.
the
I
defendant.
mean, I can hear it.
On release, negotiation of a
If you
plea,
can hear it,
scheduling
everyone
and
else
sentencing,
can.
and to receive restitution from a person who's convicted of causing you loss. If you have not already been provided with a written statement of all victims' rights, please contact the Victim Services Division of the Prosecutor's Office. Okay, we're ready to go on the record now in calendar number 1 and 2. This is CR 2022-001-242-001 and CR 2021-001-704-001. Matters of the State of Arizona versus Lori Vallow have appearances.
Good morning, Your Honor. Katie Staub, appearing for the state.
Morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. Pamela Hicks and Robert Abernathy on behalf of Miss Lori Vallow Daybell, who's present.
All right, just so we're clear, I'm gonna show two pretty brief hearings. The first one is her competency, okay, and then we're gonna pivot right over to the next status where they're going to talk about Lori defending herself and also setting a trial date. So the first one that we're going to be watching is competency. Do you want me to turn captions on? Yeah, I can definitely do that.
Present and in custody.
Thank you.
And make it full screen.
For the record.
Oh, yes.
Lori Daybell, 6/26/1973.
Thank you. All right. So last we were here, we were waiting on a second report from Dr. Hernandez. Since that time, Dr. Hernandez has been relieved. The court's appointed Dr. Webster. Dr. Webster has met with the defendant, submitted a report dated December 2nd, 2024. So we do have two reports. My understanding from the state is that there's some issue, though, with the redactions that were made to that report. Did you want to be heard on that, Ms. Staub?
Just briefly, I did send an email to the court and to defense counsel yesterday, just indicating upon review, the state's review of the most recent report, it seems like there were a lot of redactions made, most concerning in the opinion of the doctor. So I just wanted the court to have an opportunity to review that and assess basically whether those redactions were appropriate.
Okay. So redaction of Rule 11 reports is dictated by Rule 11.4A2. Redactions are allowed for any statements by the defendant about the charged offense or any other charged or uncharged offense or any summary of such offense. I read that to be very broad, but I don't read that to include anything outside of statements about stipulation form would reflect that you're hearing on redactions.
Oh, look at that.
No, I'm just looking, and if it's, and I did not bring my laptop, but I have my highlighted copy here. And if it says to section 4, the opinion as to competency, I had some things that I talked to my team about whether or not they were questionable, but I don't think I redacted, but the court can correct me if I'm wrong.
The state provided the court a copy of what they've received, and it does have a redaction here under the 4th section in the clinical formation on page 5 of the report. So it's that last sentence of the first paragraph there.
Oh, I think that was just because it was relating, it wasn't necessarily a statement, but the comment was relating to Idaho.
Okay. And I recognize a lot of the statements and information within Rule 11 proceedings might be concerning. There are certainly protections by law to prevent those from coming in as evidence at trial. And so rest assured that this information is not going to, unless it falls under limited exceptions, it's not going to bleed into any trial stages of the case. But from my reading of what's been redacted, I'm not sure that it falls within that rule. So how do we want to proceed?
It's that last sentence, correct?
Last sentence of the first paragraph under clinical formation.
I'm fine with just reading it.
Okay, so we can actually print out that last page and provide it to the state with the
Alright.
defense's permission.
That's fine. Or should I just show it to her?
And I just want to be clear for the record, Your Honor has reviewed the other redactions and finds them appropriate. That was the clinical formulation was the most concerning part to the state, but because we usually don't see that extensive of redactions, I just wanted to be sure that, and that's fine if the court has made the evaluation that those are appropriate. I just want that to be clear on the record.
Ms. Hicks, do these other statements, are you wanting to lift redactions of these other statements as well based on what we've discussed this morning?
So section 3, the family and social information, those statements kind of deal with the arrest when she was arrested. So, and we're being cautious in this case, given the unique circumstances of it.
How about the other statements?
Oh, sorry. The one in the history, the victimization history, we're standing by that redaction. We wouldn't, I don't know how to phrase this, but it gave us some concern that potentially could be issues in a trial, obviously.
But how is it a statement of a charged or uncharged offense under the rule?
Again, I'm pretty new to this case. I think if I'm correct as to what happened in Idaho, there may have been, plus can we maybe approach?
You may.
What the hell? Why are they trying to keep all this from us? Per usual.
Okay, so to be
Oh,
clear, and we're back
that
on everything,
awesome editing
to be
by,
clear, then,
Weber.
in terms of what the rule permits for redaction, the court is allowing redaction, as counsel indicated, in terms of.
Babe, what are they trying to redact right here?
It sounded like statements that are about charged or uncharged offenses from her competency evaluation. And it seemed like her lawyer was focusing on something that might have been an offense in Idaho.
Yeah. And we've talked about this many times on our lives, but competency to stand trial is a different thing than, say, an insanity defense or a mental defect defense. Those are two entirely separate things.
I mean, did they ask her if she thinks that God's going to make it come out a certain way?
I don't know.
Competency hearing.
I don't know. I don't know. But just so you guys understand that competency is, are you capable of understanding the proceedings, understanding what has been charged, what the potential penalties are, and can you assist your attorneys in your own defense? If you're not capable of doing those things, you're typically going to be deemed incompetent, and then they send you to a place and they fix you. They make you competent. How do they do that? Do they just like drill in, okay, these are your
No, they
constitutional
get you on
rights?
medication, get you straight, send you back.
Yeah, sounds like bullshit.
Some language about an arrest and extradition, but other redactions do not appear to fit underneath Rule 11.4, and so should be lifted so the state has a chance to review that. It's just a few sentences in a brief report, and so I hope that the state can do that and we can proceed this morning to prevent any further delay. Is that something we can do?
Yes, Your Honor.
And the state doesn't need to review all the redactions in order to stipulate. I just, for the purposes of the record and so that we have the unredacted copy, if defense counsel can get that to us as soon as possible, we can still proceed today.
All right. So with that, are the parties prepared or willing to stipulate to the two mental health expert reports?
So I just want to make sure I will provide a copy where we can leave in the redaction on page 2, take out the other redactions, send that to the state, and then move forward.
I was saying you could skip past all this redaction talk and
All right,
just
listen, here's the most
And
important
as far as
question.
stipulating the competency, just so that the
Does that suit coat go with those pants?
come on, babe.
Yeah, babe, would you wear that?
I
It's
don't
a-
know. I don't know.
Huh? Wow. All right. I'm going to vote no. I don't think you would wear it. But what do I know? I don't know anything about style. I'm styleless. All right. So you want me to I mean, look, we're
Just go
records
at this
clear, because
point.
again, we had filed to get
5
out of here.
minutes.
We're here because the court placed her on placed her in Rule 11 on its own motion. That's why we didn't fill out the form and have that.
I might
prepared.
fire
We
this
do
lawyer too if
agree
I'm
that there's
her.
two
Like,
competent
you know
reports and we'd
what?
like to move forward and
for
She's
wearing those
stumbling.
this is
pants.
defense
with
don't
that-
necessarily want to
Oh,
stipulate, but we will if does that make sense?
I like
Not really.
pants.
No.
Independent.
Because there's really only two avenues here to proceed. You can
Just don't seem
contest
to go
that
with the
you know I
she's
always wear
competent, and we
full,
can have an
like,
evidentiary
suit
hearing. You
suits
can
in
present your
court.
evidence, or
Skirt
parties can
suits.
stipulate to the reports, which do find her competent.
Let me just say this. We are willing to stipulate. It's just we want the record to be clear that we're here on the court's motion and not a defense motion. But we are stipulating a competency so we can move forward.
Right. But nothing in filling out a stipulation form would reflect that you're here on your own motion, or that you would agree with being in Rule 11. So that would be how I would suggest we proceed. Is that something defense is willing to do? All right. We've got stipulation forms in front of you in that basket.
Does that mean we're
right
not going to
there.
hear anything because they're
And so you
stipulating?
can fill that out. The state's agreeing to stipulate to the reports.
Yeah, this one's super
Okay.
boring in comparison.
The court
don't
is
know why you
not
played
yet
it.
in receipt
It's
of a
mandatory.
stipulation as to the defendant's competency based on the written reports here by Dr. McGady, dated November 7th, 2024. Dr. Webster, dated December 2nd, 2024. Stipulation having been accepted, the reports having been considered, court finds the defendant understands.
If you must know, the reason
Okay.
I'm really playing is because I did that whole live the other day. Like Mandy made the thumbnail. I went on and they cut the shit off. So I'm playing it just.
It's very informative. I'm learning a lot.
Thank you. Thank you, baby.
The proceedings is able to assist counsel in her defense. The court further finds the defendant competent pursuant to statute. It is ordered affirming prior release conditions, and we'll get you a new date in front of Judge Boreski so you can proceed in your case. Judge Boreski indicated he can get you in tomorrow at the earliest at 8:30 or 9 a.m. Does that work for counsel?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so I'm remanding this matter to Judge Boreski's division. We'll set it as a status conference tomorrow. That's December 6th at 8:30 a.m. Anything further?
Not.
Your Honor, can we just have a moment to make sure that that works for the victims and
Oh,
next of kin?
absolutely. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, here you have to give 3 days notice. I think that's the rule.
Judge, I don't know what the order is, but we're ready on Lizardo number 19 whenever you are.
Okay, not ready yet, but we'll let you know when we are.
All right, but we can bloop bloop. Bloop, 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 bloop. Bloop, 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 bloop.
It's just-
Oh, all right.
Oh.
Fucking.
That was
Hold on.
great.
Thanks, babe. Hey, I explained it.
I
man.
get it. You had to follow through with it.
Thank you, sis. I knew you'd figure it out. What a girl. What a gal. All right. Okay. Now this one's far more interesting. I promise. And it's still only 12 minutes. I'm not going to speed this up because, like, Lori's got the strangest, like, childlike voice. It's really weird to me.
04 CR 2022 001242.
Good morning, Your Honor.
That looks
Katie
like a
Staub
small ass courtroom.
for Trina K for the state.
Good morning, Your Honor. Pamela Hicks and Robert Abernathy on behalf of Lori Vallow Daybell, who's present and in custody.
Ma'am, can you tell me your name and date of birth, please?
Lori Daybell, 6/26, 1973.
All right, thank you. We're here for a status conference. You've been found competent by two separate healthcare providers. Is it your intention, ma'am, you had expressed earlier that you would like to represent yourself?
Yes, sir.
Is that still your intention?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
I may approach, Your Honor.
You do understand that you have the right to have attorneys represent you during your cases?
I do.
What grade did you finish in school?
I graduated from high school.
Do you read and understand English?
I do.
Have you had any drugs, alcohol, or medication in the last 24 hours?
No,
Are you currently prescribed any medications in the jail?
no,
Just cut that rubber band in.
Do you believe you're able to present a defense at trial?
I do.
Are you able to listen to what the court, counsel, and witnesses say during trial?
Yes, I will.
Do you believe you're able to ask witnesses questions that are relevant to the case and to your defense?
Absolutely.
Are you able to
Absolutely.
communicate effectively? Do you believe?
Ooh, it's already so good. So good. Absolutely. What do you think, babe? How do you think this thing's going to go?
I was sitting here just trying to think about how she's going to deal with, because I'm assuming they're going to get in as other crimes evidence her other crimes. Um,
I mean,
I mean, it
absolutely.
depends on. I wonder if they did any pretrial motions yet. That's where she's going to falter. You know, if they haven't done any pretrial motions yet, motions in limine, like she's screwing herself like completely and totally. I don't, like even if she thinks she can present a defense, she doesn't know the rules of.
But babe, she's the smartest person in the room. Don't you know
She
that?
sure is.
She's all
Sure
knowing.
is.
She's all knowing. She's
She
omnipotent.
can't possibly believe that anymore.
Like, oh, she believes
Even
it,
if she
baby.
ever did.
She believes it, baby. She believes it.
With the court, counsel, opposing counsel?
And I was going to say that the judge gives her a very, very thorough admonition here. Like, asks all the questions.
All right, well, let's hear it then.
And the jury.
I do.
I will make a finding that in court, you do appear to
Have your wits about you.
act appropriately, speak appropriately, and communicate appropriately. Have you ever represented yourself before?
Not yet.
I do have a waiver form, one for each of your cases. You've gone over that waiver form with your attorneys.
I did.
You understand the waiver forms.
I did.
You have the right to an attorney. If you can't afford an attorney, I would appoint one to represent you. The attorney would represent you at all critical stages of the case, including before trial, at trial, and if you're found guilty at sentencing. Do you understand that?
I do.
An attorney can be of great value and assistance in criminal cases. There are serious disadvantages and dangers to representing yourself. Can you just tell me a little bit why you want to represent yourself?
Yes, Your Honor, for the past 5 years that I've been incarcerated, I have taken it upon myself to study case law and criminal rules of procedure in the state of Idaho and Arizona, as well as federally. Prior to that,
Wah, wah, woo, wah.
She's doing her research.
Wah, wah, woo, wah. Wah, wah, woo, wah.
for the last 10 years, prior to my incarceration, I did study procedure in family law, and I have real trial experience. I have participated in 3 different full trials from beginning.
So she's considering herself being either a plaintiff or defendant in divorce proceedings and or a defendant in her criminal proceedings as participating. That's cool. That's cool.
To end.
In family court?
1 in family court, 2 in criminal court, 1 bench trial and 1 jury trial.
Okay.
I'm surprised he's not asking her to
You
explain.
understand that you have 2 separate cases here. On each of these cases, if you're found guilty at trial, you'd be facing a sentence of up to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 25 years.
Yes, I'm well aware of that.
And you understand that if convicted at trial, that those sentences could run consecutively or concurrently to any other sentence.
I am also well aware of that.
All right.
See, I was truly of the mindset that one of the reasons they wanted to haul her ass back to Arizona was because they have the death penalty. So I know that these are conspiracy to commit murder charges. Maybe that's something that while this is going, you could look up. Like maybe conspiracy to commit murder in Arizona doesn't make her eligible for the death penalty.
Plus, you may have to, I'll look into it, but you may have to meet certain criteria with the crime, and this is one singular offense.
Right. But like my question then becomes, and I'd be interested to know, like, we want her to pay for everything she's done, right? I mean, conceptually. Trials are expensive. You know what I mean? I mean, trials are very expensive. She is never getting out of prison in Idaho. She's done. You know what I mean? It's like, Like, I was really kind of hoping that they were going to try to avoid the death penalty. Like, I keep thinking about the concept of dumbbell, like, going in front of a firing squad. Like, I don't know, man. There's just something appealing about that to me. I don't know what it is. And I'm not like a death penalty guy. I'm not. I'm really not. Like, but dumbbell.
You understand that if you represent yourself, you'll have the sole responsibility for, among other things, asserting legal defenses, interviewing witnesses, doing investigation, doing legal research, filing and arguing motions, examining and cross-examining witnesses, giving an opening statement and a final argument to the jury. Do you understand all that?
Yes, Your Honor, and I'm very prepared.
All right. Do you also understand that you'd be held to the same standard as an attorney regarding the presentation of your case? This would include knowledge of courtroom procedure, applicable case law, rules of evidence, and rules of procedure?
Yes.
All right. Each of your attorneys.
Now, them's just words. So when we get into trial and she absolutely has no idea how to move things into evidence, about how to lay foundations or authenticate document, whatever the case may be, all the little rules that you need to know in order to proceed smoothly through a trial. She's not going to know any of that. He's given her this warning. He's going to, I'm assuming, give her a warning that, look, she's going to have to waive ineffective, right? You can't go in, shit the bed representing yourself and just say, well,
No, you don't even have, because you don't have a claim of
Right.
representation, so you wouldn't have ineffectiveness.
Right,
It's
well,
automatically waived.
can't
Yeah.
go in there and say I was a moron.
Right.
I made a terrible, terrible mistake. I had a fool for a client, Your Honor.
Attorneys have gone to college, undergrad degree for probably a minimum of 4 years, and then law school for an additional 3 years. So these two attorneys that are here in court each have, at a minimum, if not more, 14 years of higher education, as well as probably, I'm guessing, between the two of them, 30 to 40 years in trial experience. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Do you understand that your case may be specifically complicated in the sense that there are complicated evidentiary issues in your case? Do you believe you're able to present a defense?
Yes, I'm well aware of them.
All right. Do you also understand that if at some point, especially if you're in the middle of trial, you decide that you would like your attorneys to take over the case, you'd be effectively waiving any ineffective assistance
There
of
you go.
counsel claim that you might have because they might like a longer time to prepare?
Correct.
Do you understand that even if I may allow you to represent yourself, I'll be appointing these attorneys to represent you as advisory counsel?
That's my understanding.
All right. If you want to
So that's really more geared towards the advisory council, meaning that she can't turn around and say, oh, well, my advisory council really screwed me because they weren't advising me, so like he was really referring more to the attorney who's going to be advising
So
her.
she is going to have advisory counsel.
She is, yes. Yeah.
testify at trial, you'd not be able to testify in a narrative format. Instead, you'd need to write out the questions, and the advisory councils would ask you question when you testify.
Yes, that's what I'm aware of.
All right.
So that's interesting, right? So he's not going to just let her get up on the stand and spew.
Like that one case.
Little Bobby Tellas.
Yeah.
Little Bobby Tellas. The evil Casper.
You can change your mind about this at any time. If at any time you want to be represented by your advisory council, let me know. I will appoint them back to represent you as your attorneys of record. But once you make the choice to have the lawyer represent you again, I wouldn't allow you to switch back and forth. Do you understand that as well?
Correct.
What was also interesting.
You also understand that if
that-
you ask your advisory council to take the
What?
that he said that if she tries to bring her lawyer back, she is waiving ineffective assistance even in that case.
Right.
But that was to like as if your lawyer didn't have enough time to prepare. I can't imagine there's not certain amounts of ineffectiveness, like, your lawyer shows up drunk, like there's got to be some kind of outrageousness that would be not waived, but that's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
The case back over in full, you wouldn't be able to repeat anything that had already happened in the case or do over.
Correct.
All right. Because you'll be acting as your own attorney, you'll be expected to appear for every court hearing and every day of trial. If you do not appear for hearings or trial without good cause, I could consider your non-appearance to be an indication that you want to withdraw your right to represent yourself, and I would order your advisory counsel to become your attorney. Do you understand that as well?
Sure.
Your right to represent yourself is not absolute, and what I mean by that is if you fail to follow procedures, if you don't act appropriate in the courtroom, your right to represent yourself could be revoked. Do you understand that as well?
I do understand that.
All right. Do you have any questions about anything?
I just was going to ask if we were going to move forward from this today and if we are going to be able to reset trial.
We will. All right, I did receive your form. Is this your signature at the bottom of each form?
It is?
And I think I already asked you this, but I'll ask you it again. Your signature appears on this form after you went over it completely with your attorney?
Correct.
All right, the court finds your waiver to an attorney is knowingly, intelligently, voluntarily made. I guess I should ask you, did anyone force you or threaten you to waive your right to an attorney?
No, quite the opposite.
Does anyone promise you anything in order to get you to waive your right to an attorney?
No.
All right, I do find your waiver is to knowingly, intelligently, voluntarily made. Your waiver is accepted and entered of record. You will be your own attorney on the case. I will keep these attorneys on as your advisory counsel. Again, if you change your mind and would like them to take over the case, you need to let me know, okay?
Okay.
Your current last day is May 11. I'm assuming you want to set a trial date within that last day.
Yes, I do.
All right, we're going to set a trial date March 31st for jury selection at 8:30 a.m. Well, we'll set it at
Okay, what are the odds? What's the over under on her asking for a continuance?
What would even cause her to? She thinks she's ready. She thinks she knows what she's doing. I mean, I don't even know that she'd have the wherewithal to know what would require her to even want a continuance.
Well, I think he's going to have to dip into a briefing schedule in terms of, a motion discovery or discovery motion deadline here. I mean, she's going to have to draft these things up.
So you're telling me this is like early on? Like
No,
nothing's
I mean,
happened yet?
trial is set in 3 months or whatever.
I understand that, but discovery hasn't been exchanged. No motions have been done. Like
I don't know that any motions have been filed because there was the competency issue. So, I mean,
for now, 9 a.m.
and we know in Idaho, it was a speedy. She
Right,
wouldn't.
but there's no point this time for her to seek a speedy. It only hurts herself. She's already stuck in prison no matter what.
I mean,
So
do you think she gives a shit? Like, really? No, I don't. She don't care. I mean, I'm assuming that Chad has amended the end of days day, so maybe that's it. Yeah, discovery motion. We're talking about more substantive motions. Yeah, the discovery motions are typically filed real early on in the case.
yeah, they're
Alio is
pro
black.
forma, really.
Yeah, they're
but-
pro forma.
That could change the time, but we'll keep the date, March 31st. I'm going to, can I ask advisory counsel, in the event that she wishes to conduct interviews, would you be assisting her in that, or would your office have an investigator that would assist?
Either or.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I think generally OPDS will assign an investigator for that purpose, and we would ask the court to endorse OPDS on this post-minute entry.
All right, the court will appoint an investigator through the Office of Public Defense Services to assist Ms. Vallow in any investigation and
investigator on
or
her.
setting up of interviews of any potential witnesses in the trial.
Phil coming in.
I am going to set a status conference to make sure everything's on track for the trial date. I'll ask you again, my understanding is there's a large amount of discovery. You're sure that you're going to be ready in time for March 31st?
Yes, Your Honor. Also, I have a reply to the state's response. I know that we said if you were to let me go pro per, that I would have 3 days to make this response, and I have a copy for the court and a copy for
Up
the state
already.
if I could give
Wait,
you
what
that.
did she say?
Response to what?
If I could go
To-
pro per, then I could respond. If you were going to
Oops,
allow
you
me to
meant-
go pro per,
She meant pro se.
I
Just so you
understand.
guys. I know you know, girl.
Well, I'm sure everyone does. I'm just saying, like, she's already
Wait, you think
screwing.
everybody knows?
Well,
Go by
we've been
yourself is pro
saying
se?
it, haven't we? That she's going to be pro se. I don't know.
I mean, Lori didn't hear us.
The state's response to my motion to compel discovery that was filed prior to the Rule 11.
Okay, I'm gonna have to,
I believe the public defender's office filed it, correct?
was it your prior attorneys that filed the motion to
They
compel
did,
discovery?
correct, yes.
I remember now, we did hold that in advance because of the Rule 11 proceedings. So you can go, you're ready to file your reply? All right.
There's one for the state as well.
So she
Did you
handwriting this
get,
stuff out?
But they're handwritten.
Attorney Trina K filed a response. You
Oh, we
you
gotta
received
get on-
that?
we
So-
gotta
Yes,
get
this
this
is my
shit.
reply to her response.
All right, I'll take a look at those pleadings because to be honest, I haven't looked at them for a little bit. I'm going to set a status conference just to make sure everything's on track. Let's set that at 8:30 a.m. Friday, January 10.
One more time, Your Honor, I'm sorry.
8:30 a.m. Friday, January 10.
Can I use your pen?
The Rule 11 was the competency issue.
Let me write it for you, just.
Does that work for the state?
As far as I know.
Okay.
Yes,
Does that work
Lindsay,
for everyone on the defense?
that is for sure.
Yes.
Yes,
So- oh.
It's your turn.
Okay. Is there anything else from the state? One more other thing I wanted to address. My understanding is the state, we do have two separate cases here. The state would proceed to trial on the 2021 case first? Yes.
That's correct. The first in time case.
All right. I think jury selection in this case could take,
So whoever the producer is, he's like, look, I want you to get a shot of the shower clogs and
The shackles, I think, is probably.
Oh, that's what it was. The shackles. Okay.
But who?
longer than
Wait,
usual.
Yeah.
what's the second crime?
Let's see.
Oh, was his wife Arizona too?
Who's
No,
white?
they can't be charging her for that. Is she being
Uh,
charged for her first husband?
no.
Oh.
No. I think there's multiple charges. There's the conspiracy to commit.
And then maybe what's his name? The who I just said.
Brandon.
Yeah. Was that Arizona?
Yeah, I think it's Brandon.
Huh.
The attempt. Which again, like the thing that's going to come in at this trial, and I know Lindsay is of the mindset, and I think Laura is too, that like she's going to come in just trying guns a-blazing, trying to hammer away at all these folks, all the main players that we heard so much about in the first trial. It's not going to come in. It's not going to come
No.
in. She's not going to get any of it in. Like I know she thinks she is.
I mean, Adam Cox.
Adam
Maybe if
Cox
he's-
certainly.
Yeah.
He's the
Melanie
one who
Gibbs.
actually pulled the trigger.
Right. Melanie and Zaluma.
Well, I mean, remember they were trying to hook like Adam and Zulema up, trying to make that marriage happen. Zulema, I think it was. We've already forgotten how to
That
pronounce
was a
it.
bone of contention during the podcast.
What, Zulema or Zuluma?
No, we said it wrong every time. I'm pretty sure it's Zulema.
I think it is Zulema. I
Yeah.
think it is.
But we messed that up a bunch of times.
I mean, we really did.
Ooh, it was something.
We're horrible people.
Excluding jury selection, how much trial time do you think the state would take to present their side of the case?
I'm
You
sorry,
don't know?
I don't have that
Okay.
information.
We'll wait till January to talk to Attorney K about that. Just so we can block the appropriate amount of time in March. Well, I guess it'll be mostly April.
Your Honor, did you want to set a TMC as well?
No.
FTMC.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's set that for,
And Z?
Mhm.
What's a Z?
I just want to know.
Oh, yep. Remember to hit that button there.
I didn't know if she was saying CMC. Like
set that
the
for
same
March
conference, but-
21. I'm sorry, no, not March 21. March 18. I'm going to set that for my morning calendar, my normal morning calendar, so at 8:20 a.m. All right, anything else from you?
My understanding is that it will be two totally different trials. Is that
Correct.
correct? So this is just, we're just setting things and we're just doing this for the first trial.
Right, well, you should be getting discovery for both cases as they go along, but the first trial will be on the 2021 case. And then at the conclusion of that trial, we'll talk about when we're gonna try the second case.
So all discovery deadlines will be for the first 2021 case.
Presumably, yeah. But we'll talk about how much discovery there is, we would expect from the state when we come back in January. All right. Anything else?
No, thank you.
All right, we'll be at recess on this.
Good times. So there you go. It's all set up. It's all set up. It's ready. We're ready for trial. I agree. I can't see, but you heard she still is waiting for discovery. I mean,
Right.
it's a short turnaround. It's a short turnaround. I mean, but theoretically, the same way that she's expected to perform as an attorney, you know, she's bound by all the same rules, all the rules of evidence, all the rules that we as attorneys have to abide by in a courtroom. She's got to do that. You know, I think that affords her the same courtesy that they would give an attorney in terms of if they're late on getting discovery to her and she's like, look, I'm trying to get through all this discovery and they got it to me late and I'm trying to prepare these motions. I mean, I won't be shocked unless the one thing I don't know, and Laura might know in chat.
Cool lady said it best.
I mean, if she's got a speedy demand. If she has a speedy demand, all she
Yeah,
do
that is what
lay.
I think that's what he said, because he said your last day is something you want to
Oh,
perform
okay.
that day.
Okay. Yeah,
So
Sheila,
Mandy said, sorry, I answered Sheila's rule 11 was the competency, right?
oh yeah. Yeah, okay, sorry.
And Mandy said we should be able to play Colby's channel.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, I'm sure I can go over to his channel and play it.
Are we no,
I
but I didn't
mean,
know if
I think I
YouTube would
would
allow
like
that.
to talk to him first before I
Yeah.
play his content.
All right,
Just as
so
a
let's move
general
on.
proposition. All right, so I'm very excited about this. I hope there's not going to be a streaming issue with it, but I'm so looking forward to this trial. I think it's going to be fabulous, fabulously bad for her, for Lori, which is what makes it fabulous. All right, so there's Lori Vallow. We got trial set end of March, and we have Lori defending herself, and she is competent, allegedly. Yeah, situation for you would be concurrently improved. All right, so let's do. I want to pivot over to the story that is just gripping the nation, gripping the nation. I just find it very, very, very interesting. Like, have you been digging into this at all, babe?
No.
And I'm talking about the manhunt,
Right.
the
Well,
identity hunt. What did you call it? The identity what?
Chase.
The identity chase. Yes. All right. So as you guys all may or may not know, on Wednesday, early morning hours, around 6:45, between 6:45 6:49 a.m. in New York City, Manhattan, outside of a Hilton, former CEO of United Healthcare.
Same building all those alien abductions happened from.
Exactly. Boy, Allie's really sucked me into that thing last night. I'll never get those 2 hours of my life back. So Brian Thompson was gunned down by a masked gunman right outside of a hotel that he was walking into for a healthcare conference that was going to be taking place that day. So I thought let's go through some of what we know, because it's interesting. Especially, like, have you not followed this at all?
I mean, I saw that this guy in broad daylight assassinated the CEO, assassinated Mr. Thompson.
I am going to call it a person at this point.
Yeah.
What's up,
Person.
Bayou? All right. So, okay. So the masked assailant who fatally shot Brian Thompson, the chief executive of United Healthcare, outside a Midtown Manhattan hotel early Wednesday, remained at large for more than 36 hours as details slowly emerged about his methods and whereabouts before the shooting. Despite an intense city-wide manhunt, the suspect's name remained unknown on Thursday evening. To me, that's incredible. Like, the one thing that I know for a fact is that this was very, very well thought out. Very, very well thought out. Every
That's
part
why I
of
don't think this was like somebody whose child, someone who didn't get it seems to me they're trying to hide something bigger.
what happens if their child died like a year ago?
I mean, I guess, but it seems like you said, it just seems very calculated, very prepared, very
Uh,
organized. It
Okay,
seems like professional.
a year. It's not professional. A professional. We're gonna get
Well,
to
not
it, but
professionals, I guess, but go
right,
ahead.
because there was some talk about this being like a hit, like no hired hitman's getting on camera that many times, like wandering around the streets of New York. You'll see they created a pretty comprehensive map of this person's whereabouts for the last. Well, let's just go through it. So, despite an intense citywide manhunt, the suspect's name remained unknown on Thursday evening and unknown as of Saturday evening. Two law enforcement officials familiar with the investigation said. So, even so, the police managed to trace his arrival in New York, and this is the New York Times, as I stated. So, even so, the police managed to trace his arrival in New York about 10 days before the shooting. So, staging 10 days before. Okay. Some of his movements in those days and his route immediately before and after the killing. A picture began to emerge of the suspect as a shrewd and elusive operator.
Wait, I don't understand. How can they know a person who they haven't identified has been in Manhattan for 10 days?
It's $1 million question. And when we get to these photographs that they posted, which different jacket, no backpack, one with a backpack that has black straps instead of the gray, and they're claiming it's the same person. There's something weird going on with it. Very, very much so.
Hmm.
But let's dig in. So when did the gunman arrive in Manhattan? The suspect appears to have arrived in Manhattan 10 days before the shooting on November 24th, a senior law enforcement official said. He came on a bus that originated somewhere south of the city and checked into the HI New York City hostel on Amsterdam Avenue near 104th Street in Manhattan. That's a great place to go. You're not having to give ID in a hostel. And if you are, they're not making copies of it, or maybe they are. Maybe he does. I mean, I think maybe he did, because I think I read that he gave a fake New Jersey ID. So he checked out on November 29th, then checked back in the next day, the official said. So when he returned on November 30th, the shooter used fake New Jersey identification to book a room. The senior law enforcement official said on Thursday, the police released 2 surveillance stills of the man who is believed to be the shooter with his mask down. The photos appear to have been taken at the hostel, where he had shared a room with 2 strangers. Like, where are these strangers? If you have to provide an ID, where are the IDs of the strangers? They have
Those are
to.
police officers' pictures right there.
Duh.
Oh. I'm like, I zoomed in. I'm like, that's not the shooter.
That is not the shooter, Beck. Where he had shared a room with 2 strangers, the senior law enforcement official
Odd
said.
that he'd stay with 2 police officers.
That would be super weird. Super ballsy. Super ballsy. It remains unclear when the photos were taken. Why is it taking so long to catch him? Mr. Thompson was gunned down in one of the busiest and most intensely surveilled neighborhoods in the country during an especially busy season for shoppers and tourists. The police department has years of experience using images from surveillance cameras and drones to find and capture criminals.
They just got drones flying around New York
Drones
City.
everywhere. all up in your shit.
We're watching everything.
They watching us. We're on the grid. The police department has years of experience using images from surveillance cameras and drones to find and capture criminals. The department dispatched scores of officers and detectives, dogs and drones to search the city and to research tips, which arrived from all over the country. Mayor Eric Adams, appearing on MSNBC's Morning Joe, said Thursday that he believed investigators were on the right path and that we're going to apprehend this person. So, how has the gunman so far eluded identification? Much less.
Identification chase.
Woo! You did it, babe. Much less capture. Part of the reason appears to be that he was camera savvy, as the senior law enforcement official said. By Thursday evening, investigators had not found a surveillance image where the suspect's face was entirely unobscured, the official said. Even in the pictures released Thursday, the suspect was wearing a hood. The gun person. I'm sorry. I am not convinced that this isn't a woman.
I mean, it is very organized, very woman-like.
Super organized. The gunman's apparent getaway route, cycling north into Central Park, may have helped him or her because the park has many areas with no cameras. The shooter may also be lucky. Check for updates in the text. What y'all talking about?
Well, you keep reading and I'll look.
Oh, yeah, check. Updates. I love updates. All right, the shooter may also be lucky. Investigators believe that he may have dropped a water bottle at the scene and a fingerprint. Wait, Mandy's probably hysterically texting me.
Suspect identified.
Oh my God.
Oh, Lord.
All this shit and go right to it. I think we have
3 minutes ago. 3 minutes ago.
Wow. All right, let's
it.
go.
And that's a
Reuters.
argument article. Oh God, can I speak tonight?
All right,
Keep
hold on.
thinking about eating. That we didn't have dinner before we started this. But that'll be good.
All right. So, okay. Unbelievable. Wow.
All right, thanks.
Well, at least it wasn't out before. So, breaking news.
Breaking news. Do we have a breaking
breaking
news sound?
So it may have crushed my entire woman theory.
Oh, sorry, babe.
I mean, we could always hope. We could always hope that my theory's right. Okay.
All right, swap it. What are you doing?
All right, hold on. I'm tweeting. I have to tweet.
Oh my gosh, I'll do it.
Wait, hold on. I've got it. I emailed it.
Okay.
Hold on. It's real quick. Hold on. I have responsibilities
Yeah.
to the peoples. All right. Mandy, it's a loop. Thank you.
I tried to come in here and play a sound about how long you're taking, but then it started playing Hot Pocket.
Oh, are you gonna do the snoring?
I was doing I hadn't decided yet.
I mean, I deserve it.
2 hours later.
Nice.
That's Mandy, I think. It was not me.
Well, it wasn't me, so
And it wasn't me.
It must have been Mandy. All right. So here we go. Exciting. Oh, what did I do?
Not the right thing.
Am I gone? Oh, hi. Okay.
Hi.
All right. Let's see. All right. Bear with me.
Wow.
I don't understand your modern world. Okay. Here it is. Breaking news. Per Reuters. I saw Joel over at STS reported this earlier, but didn't really kind of nail it down. All right. So authorities have identified the man suspected of killing United Healthcare executive Brian Thompson and are closing in on him. New York City Mayor Eric Adams was quoted as saying on Saturday by the New York Post, no, not the Post. The net is tightening, Adams told reporters at a police athletic league holiday party in Harlem. Sounds like he's working hard, getting shit-faced over at the holiday party.
According to the Post.
He declined to name the suspect.
This is not exciting.
Thompson, 50. All right. So this is all this. Wait a second. All right. Does somebody have a link to one where they actually have dude's name. Like somebody said there was something with his name. I'm gonna have to
I'll
look.
look, you read.
I'm not. I don't want to read this one. This is
Well,
like
then read the other one.
this is Reuters.
I'm
Well, I don't
still
wanna-
interested to know all the things about how he got
Yeah,
in
it's
and
interesting. Well, I mean, it's not nearly as fascinating if they snatched him up. We got you, sucker. Okay. Are you looking
yes,
feverishly?
love, I am.
Okay. Yeah, Reuters is the only one. This is weird. This is weird. Like, is this like fake news Reuters style type shit? Like the race, like they don't name him. All right, did somebody see this guy's name anywhere? Can like tell
I'm
me
seeing
where?
is identified but not released.
Okay, well that's a bunch of bullshit. Yeah, where is Joey Jackalone when we need him? Joe, we miss you. Joe Jackalone, we love you and we miss you. So that's the Reuters thing. That's all we got. Is that all we have?
I mean, everything I'm seeing still says they haven't released his name.
All right, so here's the deal. I want to call bullshit on that until we get a name. Back to what we were doing prior to. If we get another update, if we get an actual update with a name, like them just saying they identified person and I mean, come on, dude. Like if you've identified him, blast his name out there, right? I mean, the jig is up. Okay, so back to plan A. The shooter may also be lucky. Investigators believe he may have dropped a water bottle at the scene, and a fingerprint was found on the bottle, the senior law enforcement official said. But the print was smudged. I mean, come on, dude. Like somebody put the water bottle into wherever he bought it, right? I mean, like that. I'm not feeling that excited about. But the print was smudged, making it useless in identifying the man. Then why report it? Investigators are examining whether a cell phone left near the scene belonged to the gunman and was not a decoy or so-called burner phone. Burner phone. According to a person with knowledge of the investigation, the police have not yet gained access to the device. Why are the shell casings a crucial clue? Despite his elusiveness, the shooter may have left behind two revealing clues. Bullet casings found at the scene appeared to have the words delay and deny on them. And I had read an earlier article that it was delay, deny, depose. Now the Times has not put the depose in here, so take that for what it's worth. Those words may have been a message related to delay, deny, defend, the title of a book that discusses how health insurance companies avoid paying patients' claims. Seems awfully cozy, right? The book by Dr. J.M. Feynman, a professor emeritus at Rutgers Law School, was published in 2010. The discovery led the police to think that the shooter may have been a former employee or client of United Healthcare, or possibly a conspiracy theorist, the senior law enforcement official said. Investigators were looking into the purchase in Connecticut of a gun that resembled the weapon used in the shooting, according to two officials briefed on the investigation. How did the shooting unfold? The killer, according to the images released by the police and security camera footage, was a man wearing a dark hooded jacket, a gray backpack, and a mask covering the bottom of his face. Apparently, knowing which door Mr. Thompson planned to use, the shooter arrived outside the hotel about 10 minutes before his intended target and ignored passerby as he lay in wait. Oh, he laid in wait. As Mr. Thompson, in a blue suit, walked towards the hotel entrance, the shooter approached him from behind and fired at least 3 shots with a pistol that appeared to be fitted with a silencer. Struck by the bullets, Mr. Thompson took several steps, turned to face his assailant, and then collapsed on the sidewalk. With his victim crumpled against a wall, the shooter walked toward him more slowly. He seemed to point the gun at Mr. Thompson one more time then walked away. He began to run only as he was crossing the street. So who is Brian Thompson? Mr. Thompson became United Healthcare's chief executive in April of 2021. The company based in Minneapolis suburb is a unit of United Healthcare Group or United Health Group, one of the country's largest publicly traded companies with a market valuation of $560 billion. Mr. Thompson spent more than 20 years rising through the ranks of United Healthcare, which offers insurance to companies and individuals, employs about 140,000 people, and had $281 billion in revenue in 2023. He received total compensation of $10.2 million last year, with $1 million in base pay augmented by substantial cash and stock grants. The company's profits rose on his watch, jumping to more than 16 billion last year, up from 12 billion in 2021. But amid the growth, the company and its parent also attracted scrutiny from lawmakers and regulators who accused them of systematically refusing to authorize healthcare procedures and treatments. United Health Group's size and scope have attracted the attention of the Justice Department, which is examining whether the company has engaged in anti-competitive behavior. So according to the regulatory filings, Mr. Thompson owed about 20 million of United Health Group shares as of late, or owned, 20 million of United Health Group shares as of late September, Bloomberg reported in April, as he was one of several company executives who sold shares before the Justice Department's antitrust investigation was disclosed to investors, about 15 million worth in Mr. Thompson's case. The company told Bloomberg at the time that the sale had been approved. So he lived in Maple Grove, Minnesota, where police responded to a bomb threat targeting his residence on Wednesday, about 12 hours after the shooting.
Wow.
This is what I'm saying. This thing is something. A police report released Thursday said the small suburban department sought help from the Minneapolis bomb squad to search 2 residences. They found nothing. Mr. Thompson recently received several threats, according to a law enforcement official familiar with the investigation. The source and precise nature of the threats was unclear. After Mr. Thompson's death, a torrent of criticism was leveled against insurance companies over claim denials, in particular at United Healthcare. It was the subject of a scathing report released by a Senate panel that documented insurers' refusal to pay for the care of older people recovering from falls or strokes. The report was part of the Senate investigations into denial rates of private Medicare Advantage plans. Mr. Thompson's company, in particular, was cited for a surge in denials of post-acute care, which increased to 22.7% in 2022 from 10.9% in 2020. Before joining United Healthcare, Mr. Thompson spent nearly 7 years at the accounting and consulting firm of PricewaterhouseCoopers, now known as PwC. He graduated from the University of Iowa with an accounting degree in 1997. Why was he in Manhattan? Well, the shooting occurred, and Mr. Thompson arrived early at the hotel to prepare for a United Healthcare Investors Day gathering. Such events, which are common for publicly traded companies, give major shareholders and analysts who track companies a chance to hear from executives.
I mean, they saved all that money with, denying claims. They got to celebrate.
Save big money at Menards. The New York Hilton Midtown, one of New York City's largest hotels, is a busy tourist area close to the Museum of Modern Art and Rockefeller Center, where the famous Christmas tree was lit Wednesday night and attended to by none other than Flava Flav.
So I just sent you the most recent New York Times article, which does not mention, but it gives a lot more information about where this guy came from when he was there, where he was seen, where he went.
So that's it. This.
Yeah, but you have to skip past all the stuff about this other gunman that they caught. What is the time that it says on there at the top?
This one was updated 11:35 a.m. today, published by Maria Kramer in the New York Times.
I thought it was an hour
This
ago.
is the flat. Well, I know what you're talking about. Does the one that you're talking about start with the backpack that they found in the park?
No.
Oh, all
I
right.
went
Well,
into the New York Times to see what was the most recent article with this, about this.
all right. So let's get through this one. The police on Friday offered a nearly minute by minute timeline of the gunman's movements before and after he fatally shot Brian Thompson, the chief executive of United Healthcare in Midtown Manhattan 2 days earlier. The police have made no arrests in the shooting. Let me blow this up for y'all.
Oh, this is the same article you were reading?
No, this is a different one.
Because the one I sent you says an hour ago.
I-
But
I don't know, babe.
okay.
So the police have made no arrests in the shooting and do not have a name of a suspect, but investigators have begun to piece together the movements of a man they believed killed Mr. Thompson on a city sidewalk. All right, so Joseph Kennedy, the PD's chief detective, said that at a news briefing on Friday, the suspect arrived in the city at 10:11 p.m. on November 24th on a bus that originated out of the ATL, Atlanta. Detectives have looked at the route the bus took and plan to reach out to the police department of each of the 6 or 7 towns the bus stopped in, he said. Upon arrival in New York, the man took a cab to the New York Hilton Midtown, Scopin, where he would later fatally shoot Mr. Thompson. And spent about a half an hour walking in the area of the hotel before checking into a hostel on the Upper West Side. At the hostel, he stayed under fake identification, always using cash. Oh, sorry. I was paging my phone by accident. I'm trying to go
I
into
was
theater
just
mode.
going to say, I don't know if this article mentioned it. They mentioned that they found,
The backpack?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, well, I don't know. Like, that's what I was saying. I've got all the articles. I'm just going through them. Like, I like the timeline here. It's interesting. So at the hostel, he stayed under a fake identification, always using cash, avoiding conversation, and hiding his face with his mask, even during meals. Weird. He never spoke with anyone and lowered his mask only once to speak, smiling to the hostel clerk when he first checked in. Like, I keep reading articles where like he was flirtatiously speaking. I'm like, what? Come on, dude. So when he first checked in. So on Wednesday, the day of the shooting, the gunman left the hostel at 5:30 a.m. and likely rode a bicycle toward Midtown. Though investigators do not have video of him taking the bike to the scene of the shooting, they are speculating that he did because it only took him 10 minutes to get from the hostel on 103rd Street to West 54th Street. The police are, quote, still looking into, end quote, the possibility that he could have stolen the bike. At 5:41 a.m., he arrived at the Hilton and began wandering the area near the hotel, walking back and forth on West 54th Street before entering a Starbucks, where he bought a bottle of water and a snack bar. There you go. I mean, that was useless. So I don't know if they found that bottle of water. They claim that they did, but like even DNA, if you're this person who seems to have planned that thoroughly, you're pouring the water in your mouth. You're certainly not putting your lips on the bottle of water, right? And then, so he fatally shot Mr. Thompson at 6:44 a.m. He then got back on the bike and made it into Central Park 4 minutes later. He left the park at 6:56 a.m. still on the bicycle. Surveillance cameras capture footage of him still on the bicycle 2 minutes later on 86th Street and Columbus Avenue. By 7 a.m., he was still on 86th Street, but no longer on the bicycle. He then took a cab northbound to a bus station near the George Washington Bridge that is used by interstate buses. By 7:30 a.m., he had made it to the station where video surveillance showed him going in, but not coming out. The police have not been able to find the bicycle, he said, but officers have found a backpack that they believe to be the one worn by the gunman. After more than 100 officers searched a wooded area, according to 2 law enforcement officials briefed on the development. The police are investigating every single tip that is coming into the Crime Stoppers Bureau. As weird as some of them are, as detailed as some of them are, he said, we will vet and investigate every tip that comes in. So this is the backpack one here.
I'm just going to throw this out there, but I think that we should do the whole sheriff judge debacle tomorrow because it's going to take
Long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going. I agree. We get
Yeah.
A Sunday live,
I don't know.
Sunday live.
Maybe.
I got a Bears game to watch, girl.
That's
But
true. But
even though they're 4-8 and like I think all but mathematically eliminated, I'm
we don't
still
have
very
another
excited
hour
to
and a
watch
half,
her.
though. That's what I'm going to
No,
say.
I agree. I agree. So we'll do Steins tomorrow. I agree. I thought I would be able to get through this quicker, but
We know you.
that's ridiculous. So
Ridiculous. Oh my God.
all right. All right. So I do want to hear a little bit about this backpack and then we'll call it. Okay. So this again dropped yesterday. The Times, written by Aaron Davis, Andy Newman, Maria Kramer. So NYPD officers on Friday found a backpack in Central Park, which they believed was carried by the man who fatally shot Brian Thompson, according to two law enforcement officials familiar with the investigation. Crime scene technicians photographed and collected evidence in the undergrowth late Friday afternoon as they searched for the distinctive bag the gunman had worn early Wednesday morning. They were also searching for the weapon he used, a pistol that appeared to be fitted with a silencer. One official said that the contents of the backpack, for now, remain unknown, and it would be taken directly to a crime lab. The technicians entered a wooded area in the southern end of the park to photograph and collect up. You all right, babe?
Yep. Sorry.
Okay. And collect evidence, including what appeared to be clothing and a heavy object. Placing them into the bags as street lamps and Christmas lights flickered on throughout the park.
We now know it was a jacket. And then someone put in the comments that another article said there was also Monopoly money in there.
Woo! What is it? What is the uncle's name? Dr. Uncle Pennybags or some shit like that?
Huh?
How much Monopoly money? Maybe 10 million. Oh, that would be tasty. That would be tasty.
The
I mean,
amount of
this-
BT's salary, is that a joke?
Tell me that you weren't listening to me read the article without telling me you weren't listening to me read the
There
article.
was
Yeah.
one part
He
you had
makes
me
10
looking for stuff. So,
He makes 10.10 he made 10.2 million last year as a salary.
oh, I
He's the
thought it was
CEO.
just a bonus.
Well, he makes 1 million base, and then the other stuff like
You cut
9.2.
back
And
all the people all the denials, that'll get you up there.
ABC confirmed Monopoly money. Wow, this is nefarious. This is like, what was that show that we both like? Oh, Mr. Robot. It's
Yeah.
got super Mr. Robot vibes to me. Remember that show? It was good.
Yeah, it's good.
The technicians entered a wooded area in the southern end of the park to photograph and collect evidence, including what appeared to be clothing and a heavy object, placing them into bags at street. I already read that. It was unclear if the items are connected to the gunman, but the location was along what might have been a potential escape route as he cycled through Central Park after the shooting early Wednesday morning. The site was near the 65th Street Transverse Bridge, a pedestrian and biker walkway on Center Drive. As the sun set and the temperatures dipped below freezing late Friday afternoon, nearly 24 officers, oh wait, there was a correction, gathered around the Chess and Checkers House Visitor Center, sipping coffee while guarding an area of undergrowth off the walking path. So tourists and park visitors passed by as officers searched trash cans, grates, storm drains, and leaf piles near the beach volleyball courts and visitor center. So a correction was made. An earlier version of this story misstated the day that the gunman was seen wearing the backpack. It was Wednesday, not Tuesday. So there you go.
I think this is gonna be, I don't know, to me, I see like a whole thing.
I'm going to see if they got what kind of updates they got. So, oh yeah, some social media see suspect as a folk hero. I mean, so you have
No.
obviously seen the shooting video, correct?
Yeah.
So when these two,
That's the person?
no,
I was gonna say, that's a
The
girl.
it's the winner of a lookalike contest. I mean, that's so weird that
There's
they're doing that.
lookalike contests?
It's weird that they're doing that. So they released this picture and another one.
That's the picture? That
This-
does look like a girl.
I mean, it kind of
Oh, look at
does,
the
but like
arm.
people are like, "Oh, It's because,
That's a girl. I'm sorry.
I mean, I mean, I
I don't
mean,
know.
it could be. Like that hair stability. I mean, that looks like I don't know, dude. I don't know. So yeah, I mean so that's what the question is, Lindsay, whether or not because look, different jacket. Like, I want to Google.
Yeah, get us some pictures. I got to see these pictures.
Yeah.
People,
Okay.
the other ones look like a male.
Photos of gun person. Guess I'll call it a gunman. And
Just call it shooter.
Brian Thompson. Brainerd, probably. I was hoping we could take care of this right here in Brainerd. Yeah, I saw that, Helen. I saw that. Mandy sent that to me. Old coffee. Okay, so let's see images. Let's pull some up. So we've got this one. Okay, so he doesn't look as much like a woman in this one, right? Different backpack though.
Wait, we don't see it.
Oh, sorry. You stopped sharing, that's why.
Because I thought that was the old article. I'm sorry.
You fooled me, honey bunny. All right, let's see.
I did, but I had to have Allie show Bob because Bob is
All
black.
right, so this one was dropped. Police dropped this one. All right,
That
so
looks like a man.
okay, so here you've got this one. So you've got this great, very distinctive gray backpack, right? And there's the victim, Brian Thompson. By the way, I meant to show a picture of him. So you've got this different backpack. So here, obviously, different colored backpack
And a
right?
mustache. So,
and a mustache.
I mean, it's like there's something there.
Stubble. Yeah. Okay, so this thing came out in People. Do we trust People? They put the New York PD thing on here. So this, obviously very similar, right? So different jacket.
There's not even do you see on the head? Put back the other one. There's
This one?
writing on the hood, isn't there? Or is that just a
This,
dent?
it's hard to know.
Or there's writing on a hat, maybe.
I can't really tell. Let me see if
It's like
I
a
can.
pullover almost.
Yeah, like a 3/4.
Yeah, it doesn't have the pockets.
Right. It's different. It's obviously, yeah, it's definitely different. So because this is clearly a completely different color, different backpack. I don't know that this is the person, or it's been altered. But why would they do that? Why would they release photographs
And why would they release this one of this girly looking one? With
like this one right here, like these two?
they're not the same person.
They look like completely different people.
I looked like different people to me.
And look again, different color jackets, but it's got the face thing here, the face
The
mask.
scarf, everything else looks very similar. This could be an organized thing where people are walking around looking the same.
Yeah, Mr. Robot.
All right. Well, the mystery lives on.
Continues. You guys really had me going with the update. I mean, you guys. All right. It's been fun. It's been real. I loved hanging out with you guys tonight. It was fun. It was like we don't do Saturdays typically. I value family time, and I was sad that we didn't do our Felonious Friday. Yeah, I ran some errands with Scout. Got stuck in Tarjay for about an hour and a half. We had fun in there, though. I was throwing almonds up into the sky, eating them. It was so much fun. So much fun. All right, let's give some love real quick. Dr. Vonda K, new member. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
We don't have that sound thing?
Yeah, we do.
We did.
Jay gave it to me. My boy. I was sad to miss Jay's live, but we went to go see J-Rad. Joe Russo almost died last night, which
And
was
we covered
phenomenal.
all of them except I didn't thank Christine Beck. And what's my favorite suit to wear to court? I just always wear like a skirt suit. I
Do
don't
you
know.
ever wear paisley brown pants with a blue blazer?
I never wear pants.
She does never wear slacks.
For a while, my favorite suits were my like pinstripe.
Did you give
sweater
love to that
suits.
Mickey?
No. Oh yeah, we
Oh.
did early on. You did, but we can do it again.
ZAR. What country is that? I don't know.
But thanks, Mickey. First
Yeah, thank you.
live.
That first live, love your channel, Bob. You dish it straightforward. And Allie, your reasoning and empathy is amazing. Amazing coverage. Thank you so much. And
Thank
welcome.
you.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Cool lady, we love you. Love you, love you, love you. Long time. 7 months already? Really? Amazing.
So
Terry, I
Lindsay
know you gave Terry love, right?
No, maybe did we? Yeah, I thought we did. But you know what? Say it again, because
I'm going to say it again. Terry Shelley, MC, Bob and Allie, love you guys together and apart. Allie is a firecracker of an attorney, I can tell. I would want Allie behind me 100%. God forbid I ever needed it. Allie, I love how powerful you come across. Me too.
Thanks.
Me
Thanks,
too,
Terry,
Terry.
and thanks for your generosity.
Badass. All right. Oh yeah, you already asked Christine's. Oh, and then Lindsay, Bob, what are the rules for asking for a jury or a bench trial? Like, when does that happen? So that, so if you want a bench, you waive your right to a jury trial. So that waiver, I mean, you can stretch it out a little bit. I mean, we've
You
had
can
it where we
literally
waive-
do it after you start jury selection. Be
Yes.
like, yeah, you know what? I'm out.
Yep. You can do it very, very late in the game. So, all right, you guys, thank you for hanging with us. Remember, please, I'm begging you, please share, subscribe, like on the way out. Just hit that little thumbs up. It really helps us out. If you really love us, think about becoming a member. Like Allie and I are going to do like some amazing member stuff that Allie's going to hate, like real, like behind the scenes stuff, really, really digging into what makes Allie tick, those type of membership lives. She's going to love it. She's going to vape the whole time just to piss all the anti-vapors out.
I might move into a more comfortable chair that moves again.
Oh yeah, that one doesn't squeak though. That's a noiseless chair. So, but yeah, we love you guys so much. I hope that you guys have a wonderful, wonderful Saturday evening, and maybe we'll come back. It depends. If I'm in a good mood, if the Bears win and Caleb dominates, maybe I'll do a early evening Stines, because I am very, very much knee deep into that Stines case.
Thanks,
so,
Andy.
So you guys rock. Because without you guys, I am just an old man.
Talking for a really long time.
So long. Love you.
Heart